Okay. Why is this? Why is this? I love when I hear myself. I love when I hear myself. I love when I hear my voice echo back at me. My voice echoes back at me. My voice echoes back at me. Mm, mm. My voice echoes back at me. I like to make a song out of everything. What's up? Hello. I'm making up songs as I always do, creating a poll, and then I'll be able to chat. What's going on? How art thou today? Gonna do my nails while I talk to y'all today because I have to take off this horrible color. It's cheap, 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 cheap. That's why I don't like to paint my nails. Like I just like to do clear on my nails, but I did this color for a reason. It is awful, awfully cheap. Anyways, hi. I am oh, can I be heard? Can you hear me? I hope you can hear me. I am decided to come on tonight because this is the last day for indefatigable, which is the word of the week. The word of the week, the past week was indefatigable, and Sunday ends indefatigableness. I mean, we can continue to be indefatigable, but I won't be, I'll be changing the word tomorrow. So I thought it was fitting to tell a story about how I was indefatigable. Indefatigable is the word of the week, and it's an adjective, and it means tirelessly relentless. Tirelessly relentless. Like you just don't quit. You don't give up. Someone tells you no, you keep going. So I have a great story to illustrate that. I like to keep it like, I like to be honest. A lot of people on social media, everything just seems so perfect. Their lives are so perfect. They eat the perfect food. They lose the perfect weight. They have the perfect girlfriend or boyfriend. Get the perfect job. They go to perfect vacations. No, no. I want to keep it very honest. And so this past week has been very difficult for me. I've had a lot of setbacks that have been very disappointing. But I've kept going, indefatigable. But I really want to talk about, and that's going to happen. Like we're not going to have the perfect lives, and things are going to happen that are upsetting. And you have dreams. We all have dreams, things that we desire to do, and some of us have been working at our dreams for a long time. Some of us are at the beginning of our journey. So things are going to happen. You're going to have setbacks, and it's about knowing how to deal with those setbacks and knowing if your dreams are dope enough for you that despite the setbacks, you're going to keep going. So I am a person who strongly believes in myself. And I do not take no. Let me tell y'all, like for real, for real. Saying no to me is like just saying like, okay, not right now. Like I seriously do not take no very well. And I mean that if I believe that it's something for me, I'm going to keep going and I'm going to find a way to get it. So I'm not going to be discouraged by your no. Yeah, maybe I'll be disappointed. I'm not saying I'm like Teflon and I'm not disappointed in things, but I'm going to keep going. So ESPN story, which I know that's why y'all are here. So I had a manager a few years back or whatever. Like, she was cool. She was introduced to me. I was introduced to her through a friend of mine who is now a really great actor, getting a lot of work. And so I had heard that ESPN was hiring, was starting this new, oh shoot, I shouldn't do this. I had heard that ESPN was starting a new network. Not a new network. They were, yeah, a new network. And I was like, and it was going to be, they were looking for a new anchor to kind of be the face of this new network. They were really leaning into digital, and, they were taking advantage of digital and cell phones and all that stuff. I was like, oh, this is perfect for me. So I told my manager at the time that I wanted this job. I wanted her to get me an audition, so she was like, okay. So she got me an audition. And let me tell y'all, I went into this audition, and I don't know how many people out there are, performers, actors, whatever, or you ever gone into a job interview and you walked in and you just know you killed it, like you slayed, like you freaking slayed it, killed it. I killed this audition, like killed it. And I was like, there's no way that I'm not getting this job. No way that I'm not getting this job. And so I didn't get the job. And so I was up against, there was a couple of ladies in there. And I knew they didn't know sport. Like, I know sports, y'all. Like, I am a sports head. I have a broadcast journalism degree. I was either going to be a sports anchor or an actress. And so, I know sports. And so I was like, these girls don't know sports, because I saw a bit of their audition. So yeah, I judged them like they don't know sports. And so the young lady that got the job, beautiful blonde bombshell, like gorgeous. The girl was gorgeous. She was pulchritudinous. She was gorgeous. But she got the job. And I was like, this chick don't know nothing about sports. That's my job. So I told my manager, I'm like, listen, this is my job. The manager's like, no, it's too late. They gave the job to somebody else, blah, blah, blah. I was like, no, you don't understand. This is my job. I am the best person for this job. I went into that audition and I killed it. Those other chicks don't know anything about sports. They were pretty, whatever. They don't know about sports. It's my job. And so my manager wasn't having it though. She was just like trying to play everything by the book. They told her, ESPN heads told her I was not the person. So she was going to move on. And I was like, no, not going to have it. And so I did what I often do. I believe that, you have managers, you have representatives, whatever, and they're supposed to do their best to represent you. Yes, that is their job. But nobody can represent you better than yourself. No one can fight for you harder than you can fight for yourself. And that is for real, for real. Like, you might have people who can speak up for you, who can say nice things for you. But when it comes down to like fighting for yourself, sometimes you got to go in there and you got to do what is against the rules, what is not standard, what the world tells you is not going to work. So I decided that I was going to email the producers. There were 2 head producers that I had auditioned for. And I decided that I was going to email them. And I was going to fight for myself. I wasn't going to listen to the manager. Of course, she told me not to do it. I was like, well, whatever. And so I wanted to, and this is before AI. This is a few years ago. This is before AI. No, this is me. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to contact them and I'm going to get this job. And so this is the letter that I wrote. Hello to all the people that are saying hello. Hi. So ESPN said no. I said, yeah, I don't know. No. So I wrote this letter. Greetings, everyone. As you've discovered during your mission. Oh, hold on, guys. 1 second. I got to do something before I read this letter. I'm sorry. I got to do something before I read this letter. It is a good letter. But hold on. Hold on. I'm going to read it. Okay, sorry. So ESPN said no to me. My manager didn't want to fight for me, but I decided to fight for myself. So I wrote a letter. If you're just coming in, I wrote a letter to the producers and I said this. Greetings, everyone. As you've discovered during your mission to cast the perfect talent for ESPN for this new venture, finding an actress who is willing to relinquish precious rights and sacrifice acting for a year is a daunting task. Any sports-related job, whether hosting, writing, or sideline reporting, requires the sincere desire to do the work. And the difference between an actress trying to avoid the unemployment line for a year and one who has a genuine love and knowledge of sports, like me, and sports and journalism is the desire to do the work. Yes, this is an unorthodox letter in a world of contracts and negotiations. One's representation does all the talking. My agents have been great throughout this process, maybe. While I recognize it's important to allow them to handle the more sticky legal issues, I've always felt and known that the best person to represent my thoughts and true intentions is me. I'm going to read that part again. I've always felt and known that the best person to represent my thoughts and my true intentions is me. Here's my Joe Namath prediction. Y'all know Joe Namath, a legendary athlete, NFL athlete, quarterback. If hired, together we will undoubtedly create a very successful show for ESPN. If for some odd reason we fail to manufacture a hit, it won't be because I didn't work my funny, irreverent, zany, conventional, unconventional, sports loving butt off. Though commercials have been incredibly lucrative for me, I'm starving for the challenge to produce something innovative, spectacular, and straight up good. Let's get past the preliminary discussions, dot the I's and cross the T's so we can create the special something. Okay? All the best, Tracee. And what followed maybe like a week later was an offer. My manager called me and said, I don't know what happened to the other person, but they've given the job to you. I got the job after they said no. And so for me, what that says is if you truly believe something is for you, you truly believe it, not fantasy believe it. Like if you truly believe something is meant for you, if someone says no to you, you're going to find a way to turn that no into a yes. You're going to find a way. Sometimes it's going to take a little bit of work. But I said this the other day. The easiest thing for somebody to do is to tell you no. That's the easiest thing because they just get you out of their hair. No is the easiest thing to say to someone. Yes. Yes is a bit more challenging sometimes. So for me, I know myself and I know when something's right for me. I also know when something's not right for me. And I'm like, cool. But when I know something is right for me, there's not anything nothing's going to stand in my way. And I'm going to keep on going and I'm going to keep on going until I get the yes. Sometimes you have to change courses and you have to switch up your tactics and everything. But if you truly believe something is for you, you can't give up on the first no that you hear. Because things that you really want and that are worth having, you have to work for them. Sometimes you have to work harder than you want to. I've worked very, very, very hard in my career. And nothing has come easily. But it's also that much more satisfying and gratifying when you work hard for something. So a no is this momentary. A no is not forever. A no sometimes is a pen, a paperclip, a bookmark, or whatever. It could be a digital bookmark. A lot of us are not reading, paper books, but a no is just a pause. And it's to see how much you really, truly, truly want something. We live in an age right now where everything is pop, pop, microwave. You put it in, you get it, boom, boom. TV, even social media makes us think that things are so quick. Hello, Mr. Tank Dog 36. The social media makes us think things are quick because people are putting up airs and they're showing things and they're making it seem like they just woke up and they got everything they wanted. It's fake. We cannot believe that stuff. You have to work for things. And so I think it's just really satisfying to me. So when I got this job at ESPN, after they told me no, everybody thought it was a miracle. They were like, what? I thought they gave it to somebody else. They did give it to somebody else. God bless her. But I was like, it's my job. They gave my job to somebody. That's how I felt. Why'd y'all give my job to somebody else? It's my job. My job. And that attitude got me the job. Now, here's another funny story about that. There was an agent, and I ain't gonna say his name because I don't like this guy. He's a hot mess. But there was a talent agent that I had met a year before I got the ESPN job. I was introduced to him by a casting director that I know, that I'm friends with. She introduced me and she's like, hey, I know this actress. She's talented, da, da, da. So I met with him and this guy blew me off. He was like, yeah, whatever. He just basically took the meeting as a favor to my friend. And so when I got the job at ESPN, after they didn't give me the job, I sent out notices to all the agents because I'm like, now I want an agent. So he was one of the agents that I had sent out, that I had written. This guy called me and he wanted to, wanted to set up a meeting. So we set up a meeting. I met with him and it turned out that the woman who had the job that I took, the woman who temporarily had my job, that was her agent. And so he was like curious to see who is this person who took my client's job. So it was me. So we're talking and he's like, ooh, have you found an agent yet? Are you represented yet? I would like to represent you. And I was like, oh, this is interesting because I met with you a year ago. This guy didn't even remember. He said, oh, really? What happened? I said, well, you told me that basically you kicked me to the curb. You were like, bye, I can't do anything for you. He was like, oh, things are different now. Hello. I'm like, oh, wow. He didn't even remember that he slammed the door in my face, basically. And now that I got this job that his client used to have, now he wants to represent me. So, I signed up with him, but it was he was not a great agent for me. He did not believe in me. Everything, I had to fight for everything with this guy. If I would hear about a job, I would say, yo, there's this job. He's like, no, I don't know if that's for you. So anyway, I'm glad I'm done with him. Like, so glad I'm done with him. He was really not a great representative. But the whole point of my telling you that story is you never know how things are going to turn around. This guy basically slammed the door in my face a year prior. And now here it is. I took the job that his client had, and now he wants to represent me. And so you have no idea how things are going to turn around. You just have to keep at it, keep going, keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing. I can't say that enough. Indefatigable is not just the word of the week. It is something that you have to embody, truly embody this word. Indefatigable. Relentless, tirelessly relentless. And so when doors are slammed in your face, whether proverbially or literally, when people tell you no, when it feels like your dreams are so far out of reach, when the school that you wanted to get into said no, when the job you wanted said no, whatever the thing is, you got to keep pushing and believe in yourself. It is so, like, that advice, it seems like a cliche. You got to believe in yourself, but you do have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you? You have to be your biggest cheerleader. Sometimes we are our biggest critic, yes. And there is a healthy amount of criticism that we should give ourselves. We should be able to look at ourselves critically, fairly, and say, hey, these are the things I need to change. These are the things I need to work on. These are the things I need to do to help me grow. I think every day we should be looking to be better the next day than we were the day before. I do believe that. But we also have to be our biggest cheerleaders. And that doesn't mean to be the biggest egomaniac. No. It just means that you really have to believe that you are enough, that you have something to offer. And then if you're not enough, then you got to figure out what are the things that you need to become enough for that particular job, for that particular role, for that particular school, whatever it is. But you got to believe in yourself. So there's a lot of self-deprecation that goes around with all of us. It's a fallback that we do because sometimes it's a cushion. We want to protect ourselves from being hurt. And you want to protect yourself. Thank you. You want to protect yourself from being hurt, protect yourself from disappointment. And so it's easy just to be self-deprecating and to pretend like you don't care about things. Oh, I didn't want that job anyway. It's not true. You wanted it. But you just got to figure out, when you get that no, how are you going to turn it around? So my ESPN letter is not the first time I've written a letter to someone or send an email when I felt like something was right for me. I've done it a couple of times. The ESPN story is one of the, I would say, the most profound moments in my life where I really fought for something that I believed in. When I went around, agents and managers, when I went around and when I did things unconventionally, and I fought for myself. And so I don't regret it. It was a great experience. It was a dream job for me. Got an opportunity to interview so many icons, so many legends. And so it was and got to do something I love. I love sports. And so I got a chance to do it in a way that was how I want to do it. I'm not a conventional person. So I'm never going to do straight, reporting. It's not my thing. So doing the ESPN job and getting that job was so dope. After my producer took another job. And so, you know what happens when a producer when the person that hires you takes another job. usually everybody that they hired is gone. So that's kind of what happened. My contract didn't get renewed, but I got that job after they told me no. And so I'm proud of my letter. I'm proud that I went around my manager, and I'm proud that I believed in myself. Hello, I'm doing great. How are you? I'm glad that I believed in myself and glad that I was indefatigable at that time. So I just encourage all of you, like I said, indefatigable. Today is the last day that I'm going to push indefatigable as the word of the week. But indefatigable is the word of the week. And it is an adjective, and it means just tirelessly relentless. Tirelessly relentless. So if you take anything away from this live, I hope that you take away believe in yourself, but don't take no for an answer when you truly, truly, truly believe that something is for you. When you truly believe that a job is for you, when you truly believe that a position, a title, whatever it is, a raise, a promotion, whatever, a school, an internship, I can go on. When you truly believe that thing is for you, you cannot take that no. You got to go back and you got to fight for it. You got to come up with the reasons why it should be yours. And you got to fight for it. You got to pitch yourself. And you got to tell whoever that is that this job, internship, promotion, whatever it is, that it is for you. I've done it. It's worked for me, and I will do it again and again. No one is going to fight harder for me than I fight for myself. Not an agent. Nobody. Nobody. Because nobody knows truly, not even your parents, not even your spouse, nobody knows what's really going on in your mind. Nobody knows. They might know, of course they know you, but they don't know what truly, like, your dreams, like when you lie down at night and what you're really truly dreaming and wishing for. They think they know, but nobody knows you better than yourself. So only you can truly fight for you. So I look for people, and it's hard. Look, listen, this week was so rough for me, but I looked at the challenges that I had this week, and I said, okay, I'm gonna take my lick, and then tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna be better than I was today. And I'm gonna figure out whatever didn't work today, I'm gonna figure out how I can make it work tomorrow. And I did. One of the roughest days I had this week, I figured out, I was like, all right, okay, I'm gonna take this hit. And then tomorrow I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna figure a better way to do this thing. And that's what I did. That's my personality, though. I get disappointed and I'm like, all right. And I do my mad, whatever. Because I do also think that we have to take the time to be upset at have whatever all the feels you have when you have disappointments. And a lot of people always tell you, oh, don't be sad. Don't cry. No, cry. Be mad, be sad. But you got to have a cutoff point. Be mad, be sad for like a hot second. And then you got to get back up. I don't like when people tell people not to cry. What the hell is that? You got to cry. Sometimes when the ESPN venture ended, when my contract wasn't renewed, I was in go mode. I was like, oh, they ain't gonna get me. I'm Tracee. So, I kept working on things that I had going on. I had other stuff. I had a show that I had created and that I was pitching, and I was like, I'm going to get this show picked up. I'm going to show them. I did not give myself a chance to mourn that job And so when I finally did, I was like, oh, I was hurt by that. So it's okay for us to be hurt by disappointments. It's okay for us to cry and to be mad and to holler and to scream and do all the things that we do when we're disappointed. But we got to get up and we got to dust ourselves off and we got to try again. And so that is what Indefatigable is all about. Getting back up and trying again. So I hope y'all got something out of this. We're going to have a new word tomorrow. I don't know what it's going to be yet. I haven't decided. But there's going to be a new word. So carry indefatigableness with y'all. Carry it with you. And do great things. Be good to yourself because you deserve it. All right, y'all. Peace.